Last Thursday night, I was sprawled on my couch in Seattle, exhausted from a 12-hour day crunching data at my tech job when I opened Instagram to zone out. That's when I saw it, my brother Skylar smirking by an infinity pool with a Hawaiian sunset behind him captioned Paradise, found living the dream in Maui. My stomach lurched because I recognized that pool from Paradise Cove Resort, the ultra-exclusive Maui spot where I'd dropped 15 grand a year for a premium subscription. It was my one big splurge, non-transferable, tied to my name with a pin I'd never shared. Skylar, who'd never worked more than a month at a time, and my parents always drowning in bills, couldn't afford a place like that, not in a million years. My fingers froze on my phone, a cold sweat creeping up my neck because something was seriously off. I swiped through Skylar's stories, each one hitting harder than the last, him sipping a glowing cocktail at the resort's rooftop bar. My mom twirling in a sundress by a tiki torch, my dad lounging during a spa massage with Paradise Cove's logo in the frame. They were living it up, acting like they belonged in that world. My pulse raced as I grabbed my laptop and logged into my resort account, hands trembling while the page loaded. There it was under recent activity. Current stay, Paradise Cove, Maui, presidential suite guests. Todd Quinn, Lori, Quinn Skylar, Quinn check-in. 4 days ago, duration 12 nights. My breath caught because my parents and Skylar were in Hawaii, crashing in the priciest suite using my subscription, the one I'd told them was off-limits, no exceptions. I rummaged through my wallet on the kitchen counter, flipping through cards, but my Paradise Cove card, the black one with my name in gold, was missing from its usual spot. I checked my purse, my desk, even my coat pockets. My mind flashing back to 2 weeks earlier when my parents and Skylar came over for dinner. Mom had wandered around my apartment, gushing over my new espresso machine, while Dad grilled me about my promotion, and Skylar just lounged on my couch, glued to his phone. Had one of them swiped it? The thought made me nauseous, so I dialed the resort's member services line, gripping my phone tightly to keep my voice steady. "Thank you for calling Paradise Cove Elite Member Services. This is Kayla. How can I assist you?" Her tone was calm, professional, but I was barely holding it together. "Hi, I'm Avery Quinn, and there's a huge problem with my account. It shows a stay in Maui, but I'm in Seattle right now." I heard typing, then a pause. "Yes, Ms. Quinn, I see a booking at our Maui property presidential suite under your subscription, with guests checked in 4 days ago for 12 nights. They presented the card and PIN at check-in." My chest tightened, my voice rising. "That's not possible because I never gave anyone permission and my card's gone." Kayla hesitated, her voice softening. "The guests identified as your parents and brother, and they had the correct PIN. Is this unauthorized?" I snapped. "Completely unauthorized. I told them it was mine alone." She typed again, her tone cautious. "This is serious. Ms. Quinn, let me escalate this to my supervisor. Can you hold?" I muttered a yes. My mind racing. How did they get my PIN? I'd never told anyone, not even when Mom asked about the resort last month, her eyes lingering on the glossy brochure I'd left out. While on hold, I went back to Instagram, where Skylar had posted another story, a video panning across a sprawling suite with an ocean balcony, him grinning and saying, "This is how you vacation, elite access all the way." Mom's laugh echoed in the background, and my blood boiled. They weren't just using my account. They were flaunting it like they'd earned it. I opened my credit card app, dreading the damage, and sure enough, charges from Paradise Cove were piling up: spa sessions, a private dinner, a snorkeling tour totaling over $3,000 in 4 days, with 8 more days to go. My hands shook as I called Mom's phone, but it went straight to voicemail, and Dad's rang twice before doing the same. Skylar didn't pick up either, so I fired off a group text. "Call me now about Paradise Cove. This is not okay." No reply came, and I scrolled through more of Skylar's posts. Dad on the resort's golf course, Mom at a beach yoga class, Skylar at the VIP nightclub captioning it, "Nothing but the best for us." I couldn't breathe, Realizing this wasn't a mix-up they'd planned, it'd taken my card, cracked my PIN, and were spending money they knew they'd never repay. The silence from my family wasn't new, but it hit differently now. Usually Mom called weekly, whining about utility bills or asking for a loan, while Dad texted about car repairs and Skylar begged for cash to get by. For 2 weeks, they'd been quiet, and I'd thought maybe they were finally sorting things out. But no, they were scheming. Kayla came back on the line, her voice measured. "Ms. Quinn, my supervisor confirmed you have two options. You can authorize the stay retroactively covering all charges or cancel your subscription, which would end the stay immediately, forcing the guest to pay the standard rate about $1,500 a night or leave." I closed my eyes, my head pounding. Authorizing meant eating thousands more, but canceling would humiliate them, maybe leave them stranded. "If I cancel, what happens?" I asked. "Security would notify them, and they'd have until noon tomorrow to settle up, or check out. Pending charges would be reversed, but you'd need to dispute existing ones with your card company." I thanked Kayla and hung up, staring at the resort's website still open on my laptop. I remembered signing up for the subscription sitting in my tiny apartment, worn out from years of 60-hour weeks as a data analyst. I'd worked since 16, covering groceries, paying my way through college while my parents funneled money into Skylar's music lessons, his gaming rig, his influencer gigs that never panned out. At 30, I'd finally claimed one thing for myself: Paradise Cove, my escape from the grind. I'd told them it was mine, and Mom had said we could never afford that Avery, but her eyes had lingered on that brochure. I called my best friend Jade, my voice shaking. "They stole my resort access. Jade, they're in Hawaii, racking up charges on my account." Jade didn't flinch. "They've done this before, Avery. Your emergency fund for Skylar's laptop, your debit card for Mom's groceries that turned into clothes. This is just worse, so shut it down." I swallowed hard, my anger surging. "But canceling, they'll lose it. Mom will cry, Dad will scream, Skylar will blast me online." Jade cut me off. "They stole from you. Let them deal with it." Hanging up, I felt my resolve harden. She was right. This wasn't just a mistake, it was a betrayal. I was about to email the resort when my phone buzzed with a new Instagram story from Skylar, him, Mom, and Dad at a luau raising champagne glasses, captioned, "Family goals, living the life we deserve." That pushed me over the edge. My life, my money, my access. I called Paradise Cove back, my voice firm. "This is Avery Quinn. I'm canceling my subscription effective immediately." The representative paused. "Are you sure, Ms. Quinn? This will end the stay and security will notify the guests." I didn't waver. "I'm sure, do it." As I hung up, a text from Mom popped up. "Avery, why the late calls? Everything okay?" My blood boiled. They had no clue what was coming. Mom's text was still glaring on my phone. "Avery, why the late calls? Everything okay?" And I was about to fire back a reply when my phone rang, the resort's number flashing across the screen. My heart pounded as I answered, knowing this was about the cancellation I'd just triggered. "Ms. Quinn, this is Kayla from Paradise Cove Elite Services," the familiar voice said, now tinged with urgency. "We've processed your subscription cancellation, and security has notified the guests, your parents and brother, about the terminated stay. They're reacting strongly, insisting it's a mistake, and they've demanded to speak with management." I gripped my phone, my anger flaring at their nerve. "Let me guess, they're claiming they had permission." Kayla paused, then confirmed. "Yes, your brother specifically said the subscription was a family account, and your parents backed him up. But our records show it's registered solely to you, so we're proceeding with the eviction process unless they pay the standard rate of $1,500 per night." I thanked Kayla, hung up, and stared at my phone, my blood still boiling from Mom's fake concern. They were lying to the resort staff, acting entitled to my account, and I couldn't believe they thought they'd get away with it. Minutes later, my phone exploded with notifications. First, a call from Dad, then Mom, then a barrage of texts from Skylar. I ignored Dad's call, but Mom's voicemail popped up, her voice shrill and panicked. Avery, what did you do? Security just came to our suite saying we have to leave or pay thousands. This is humiliating. You need to fix this now. I deleted it without listening to the rest. My hands shaking, and opened Skylar's texts. You're a selfish jerk, Avery. Kicking us out of Paradise because you're jealous. I'm telling everyone what you did. His words stung, but I was too furious to care, especially when I saw his latest Instagram story, a shaky video of him in the suite ranting. My sister just screwed us over, canceled our stay, and now we're getting kicked out like trash. I was pacing my apartment trying to process their audacity when Dad called again, and this time I picked up my voice tight. What the hell, Avery? He shouted, not even letting me speak. You canceled our stay, humiliated us in front of the entire resort, security escorted us to the lobby like we're criminals. I cut him off, my anger spilling over. You stole my subscription. Dad took my card, used my PIN, and ran up thousands in charges without asking. You humiliated yourselves. He scoffed, his voice dripping with indignation. We're family, Avery. We share things, that's how it works. And you're acting like we robbed you blind. I clenched my fist, struggling to stay calm. You did rob me, Dad. You lied, you planned this, and you're still lying to the resort staff. He started yelling again, but I hung up, my heart racing, and muted his number. Mom called next, her voice tearful, and I braced myself before answering. Avery, honey, please call the resort back. They're saying we owe thousands and we can't afford it. Everyone's staring at us in the lobby. I took a deep breath, my resolve hardening. Mom, you took my card and used my account without permission, so don't act like victims. You knew exactly what you were doing. She sobbed, her voice breaking. We just wanted a nice vacation, something we could never afford, and we thought you wouldn't mind since you're doing so well. I snapped, my patience gone. You thought wrong, Mom, and now you're dealing with the consequences. I hung up, my chest heaving, and blocked her number too, needing space to think. Skylar's next move pushed me over the edge. He posted a public Instagram video standing in the resort lobby, security guards in the background, his voice loud and dramatic. My sister, Avery Quinn, just betrayed her own family, canceled our resort stay because she's too greedy to share her fancy subscription, and now we're stranded. Thanks, sis. My phone buzzed with notifications as his followers commented, some calling me heartless, others egging him on. I wanted to scream, but instead I called Jade, my best friend, needing someone to ground me. Jade, they're trashing me online now. Skylar's telling the world I'm the bad guy for canceling their stolen vacation. Jade's voice was steady, cutting through my panic. They're deflecting, Avery. They stole from you, lied to the resort, and now they're playing victims because they got caught, so don't let them guilt you. I hung up, my anger mixing with a strange calm, and checked my credit card app again, where the charges had climbed to $400, $200 more, spa treatments, a luau upgrade, even a helicopter tour. I felt a surge of betrayal, remembering how I'd sent Mom $800 just 3 weeks ago for car repairs they'd begged for, claiming they were broke. Now I realized they'd probably used it for plane tickets to Maui, planning to charge everything else to my account. I called my Aunt Tessa, Mom's sister, the only family member who'd ever called out their behavior. I'm not shocked, Tessa said after I explained everything, her voice heavy. Your mom's always chased a lifestyle she can't afford, and your dad just goes along with it. Skylar's no better, thinking he's entitled to your success because you're family. Tessa's words hit hard, and I felt a knot in my stomach, realizing how deep their betrayal ran. I opened my email to dispute the charges with my credit card company, attaching screenshots of Skylar's posts as proof of unauthorized use, when my phone rang, an unknown number with a Hawaii area code. I answered, cautious, and a man's voice came through. Ms. Quinn, this is Marcus Lee, General Manager at Paradise Cove, Maui. I'm calling about the situation with your subscription. My heart sank, bracing for more drama. Your family attempted to pay with a credit card after the cancellation, but it was declined, and they offered a staff member cash to reinstate the stay, which we refused. I was mortified, my voice barely steady. They tried to bribe your staff. Marcus cleared his throat diplomatic. We're handling it discreetly, but they've been asked to leave by noon tomorrow. Security is monitoring to ensure compliance. I thanked Marcus, hung up, and sat on my couch, my head spinning from the chaos. They'd lied, bribed, and trashed me online, all because I'd dared to protect what was mine. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Skylar, this one, a photo of him, mom and dad, at the airport, bags packed with a caption, "Thanks to my sister, we're stuck figuring out how to get home." I stared at the image, my anger flaring, but then my phone rang, and it was my coworker Liam who'd seen Skylar's posts. "Avery, what's going on? Your brother's blasting you online? You okay?" I took a deep breath, knowing I had to face this head on, but not sure how. Liam's voice was worried through the phone, asking if I was okay after Skylar's Instagram rant went viral, and I could barely answer, my mind stuck on the photo Skylar posted of him. Mom and dad at the airport captioned, "Thanks to my sister, we're stuck figuring out how to get home." I took a shaky breath, telling Liam, "I'm not okay, but I'll handle it." They stole my resort subscription, and now they're playing victims online. Liam offered to come over, but I said I needed time to think, hanging up as my phone buzzed with more notifications. Skylar's followers piling on, calling me a selfish snob, while Mom sent another tearful voicemail I didn't listen to. I was furious, my chest tight, when a text from Dad popped up. "We're back in Seattle. Meet us at Sullivan's Diner tomorrow, 10 a.m. We need to talk." I stared at the message, knowing it wouldn't be a calm discussion, but I replied, "Fine," ready to face them head on. The next morning, I walked into Sullivan's Diner, my stomach in knots, spotting Mom, Dad, and Skylar at a corner booth. Their faces a mix of exhaustion and anger. Dad's jaw was clenched, Mom's eyes were red, and Skylar was typing furiously on his phone, probably posting more lies. I slid into the booth, my voice steady despite the tension. "You wanted to talk, so talk. Why did you steal my subscription and lie about it?" Dad leaned forward, his voice low but sharp. "You embarrassed us, Avery, getting us kicked out of that resort like we're thieves. We're your family. We deserve that trip." I cut him off, my anger flaring. "You deserved it. You took my card used. My PIN ran up over $4,000 in charges and lied to the staff. That's theft, not family." Mom started crying, her voice wobbly. "We just wanted one nice thing, Avery. We thought you'd understand since you're doing so well." I shook my head, my patience thinning. "You thought I'd understand you stealing from me, Mom. You begged for $800 3 weeks ago for car repairs. But you used it for plane tickets, didn't you?" Mom's face crumpled and Dad looked away, confirming my suspicion without a word. Skylar finally looked up from his phone, smirking. "You're just mad because we had fun while you're stuck working your boring tech job. You're jealous, admit it." I leaned forward, my voice cold. "Jealous I worked 60-hour weeks to afford that subscription, Skylar, while you've never held a job longer than a month. Don't lecture me about fun." He rolled his eyes, typing again, and I noticed his phone screen, a new Instagram post live with comments flooding in about our argument. I grabbed his phone, shutting off the live stream, and he lunged for it, yelling, "Give it back. You're ruining everything." I held it out of reach, my voice rising. "Ruining what, Skylar? Your fake influencer act. You're trashing me online to look like a victim, but you're the one who stole from me." Dad slammed his hand on the table, making the coffee cups rattle. "Enough, Avery. You're blowing this out of proportion. We were going to pay you back." I laughed, bitter. "With what money, Dad? You're drowning in credit card debt, and you still thought you could afford a presidential suite." Mom sobbed louder, drawing stares from other diners, and I felt a pang of guilt, but I pushed it down, refusing to back off. The server approached, asking if everything was okay, and I nodded, lowering my voice. "You need to understand something. I'm done being your bank. I've been bailing you out since I was 16, covering groceries, helping with bills, while you spent thousands on Skylar's hobbies." Mom wiped her eyes, her voice desperate. We did our best, Avery. We sacrificed so much for you. I cut her off, my voice firm. Sacrificed, I paid my own college tuition, bought my own car while you got Skylar a new laptop every year. Don't rewrite history. Skylar smirked again, muttering, "You're so dramatic. It's just a vacation." I turned to him, my anger boiling over. Just a vacation. You tried to bribe resort staff. Skylar, and you're still acting like I'm the problem. Dad's face reddened and he leaned closer, his voice a growl. You fix this, Avery. Call the resort, reinstate the subscription, and stop this nonsense. I stood up my chair, scraping the floor, and looked at them each in turn. I'm not fixing anything. You made this mess, and I'm not cleaning it up anymore. I tossed cash on the table for my coffee and walked out, my heart pounding, ignoring Mom's pleas for me to come back. Outside, I checked my phone, seeing Skylar had posted again a photo of me, leaving the diner, captioned, "My sister walked out on her own family, so much for loyalty." My hands shook, but I didn't respond, knowing it would only fuel his drama. I called Jade, my voice trembling as I paced the sidewalk. They're blaming me, Jade, saying I'm selfish, and Skylar's posting everything online like I'm the villain. Jade was furious, her voice sharp. They're manipulating you, Avery. They stole, lied, and now they're gaslighting you to save face, so don't let them win. I hung up, my resolve strengthening, and decided to call my therapist, Dr. Nora Blake, booking an emergency session for that afternoon. Sitting in her office, I poured out everything: the diner confrontation, Skylar's posts, my parents' excuses. Nora listened, then said, "You're setting boundaries, Avery, and they're pushing back because they're used to you giving in, but you're not responsible for their reactions." Nora's words stuck with me, and I felt a flicker of clarity, but my phone kept buzzing with messages from relatives I hadn't heard from in years. My cousin Nate, Dad's buddy Frank, even my grandma, all echoing the same guilt trip about family loyalty. I realized Mom and Dad had rallied them, painting me as the bad guy, and it hurt. But I didn't reply, focusing instead on protecting myself. That night, I checked my credit card app, seeing the disputed charges were under review, but a new email from Paradise Cove caught my eye: an itemized bill of my family's expenses, including a $2,000 jewelry purchase from the resort boutique listed as guest request by Lori Quinn. My jaw dropped, my anger surging because Mom had never mentioned buying anything like that. I forwarded the bill to Tessa, my aunt, asking if she knew about it, and her reply came fast. "Your mom's done this before, Avery. She used my credit card once for a gift. She never paid back, and I bet that jewelry's for Skylar's girlfriend." I felt sick, realizing the betrayal was deeper than I'd thought, and I called Jade again, my voice breaking. "They bought jewelry, Jade, with my account, $2,000, probably for Skylar's girlfriend." Jade gasped, then said, "That's it, Avery. You need to confront them again, but smarter this time. Don't let them twist it." I hung up, my mind racing, when a voicemail from an unknown number popped up, and I played it, hearing a woman's voice. "Hi, Avery. This is Skylar's girlfriend, Mia. I need to talk to you about what happened in Hawaii." Mia's voicemail was still ringing in my ears. "Hi, Avery. This is Skylar's girlfriend, Mia. I need to talk to you about what happened in Hawaii," and I sat frozen on my couch, my phone in hand, debating whether to call her back. My anger from the diner confrontation and that $2,000 jewelry charge on my resort account was still raw, but something about Mia's voice sounded urgent, so I hit redial, my heart racing as it rang. She picked up on the second ring, her voice nervous. "Avery, thanks for calling back. I didn't know who else to tell, but Skylar and your parents are lying about Hawaii, and I can't stay quiet anymore." I gripped my phone, my stomach twisting. Lying about what, Mia? They already admitted they took my subscription. What else is there? She hesitated, then dropped a bombshell. "That jewelry charge. It wasn't for me. It was for Skylar to pawn, and they've done this before, using your money for years, way before Hawaii." I felt like I'd been punched, my breath catching as Mia explained Skylar had bragged to her about how mom and dad had been dipping into my old college savings account since I was 18, funneling thousands to cover their debts, and Skylar's projects like his failed music career. I was shaking, my voice barely steady. Mia, why are you telling me this now? She sighed, her tone guilty. I thought it was just family stuff at first, but after you canceled the resort stay and Skylar started trashing you online, I realized how messed up it is. They're using you, Avery, and I'm done covering for him. I thanked her, hung up, and sat there, my head spinning because the betrayal wasn't just Hawaii. It was years of lies, my own family draining me behind my back. I called my Aunt Tessa, my voice trembling as I told her what Mia said, and she wasn't surprised, her tone heavy. I've suspected it for years. Avery, your mom borrowed from your savings when you were in high school, claiming it was for emergencies. But it went to Skylar's music lessons and your parents' credit cards. I felt sick, my anger surging because I'd worked nights at a diner to pay for college thinking my savings were gone due to bad investments, not my family's greed. Tessa urged me to confront them, but I needed proof, so I logged into my old bank account, digging through statements from 10 years ago, and there they were, transfers to mom's account totaling over $15,000 labeled family expenses while I was scraping by. I was furious, my hands shaking as I called Jade, spilling everything: Mia's call, Tessa's confirmation, the bank statements. Jade was livid, her voice sharp. They've been stealing from you since you were a kid. Avery, it's not just a resort subscription, it's a pattern, and you need to stop it now. I knew she was right, so I booked another session with my therapist, Dr. Nora Blake, for the next day, needing to sort through the rage and hurt. In her office, I laid it all out. The Hawaii theft, Skylar's online attacks, the jewelry scam, the stolen savings. Nora listened, then said, "You're uncovering a lifetime of financial abuse, Avery, and setting boundaries means facing their resistance, but you're strong enough to do this." Her words gave me a spark of resolve, and I decided to confront my family again, but on my terms. I texted Mom, Dad, and Skylar asking them to meet me at my apartment that weekend, saying we needed to clear the air. They agreed, but I could tell from Mom's hesitant reply, "Can we just move past this, honey?" that they expected me to cave. Saturday morning, they showed up, Mom clutching a tissue, Dad's face stern. Skylar slouched with a smirk. I didn't waste time, my voice firm as I held up the bank statements. "You've been taking my money since I was 18, $15,000 from my college savings gone while I worked nights to pay tuition." Mom's eyes widened and Dad shifted uncomfortably, but Skylar laughed, dismissive. "That was ages ago, Avery. Why are you digging up old stuff? We needed it more than you." I slammed the papers down, my anger boiling over. Needed it. For what, Skylar? Your music lessons that went nowhere. Mom's shopping sprees you stole from me, lied about it, and then used my resort account for your scam in Hawaii. Mom started crying, her voice desperate. "We didn't mean to hurt you, Avery. We were struggling, and you were always so responsible." I cut her off, my voice cold. "Responsible? I was a kid, Mom, and you made me your bank. Hawaii was just the last straw." Dad leaned forward, his tone sharp. "You're being unfair, Avery. We raised you, gave you everything, and now you're acting like we owe you." I stood up, my hands clenched. "You owe me respect. Dad, not my money, not my savings, not my subscription, and I'm done letting you take it." Skylar rolled his eyes, muttering, "You're so dramatic, just get over it." I turned to him, my voice steady. "Dramatic. You pawned jewelry with my money." Skylar, Mia told me everything. His smirk vanished and Mom gasped, but Dad just glared, saying, "This is family business. Avery, keep Mia out of it." I shook my head, done with their excuses, and pointed to the door. "Get out, all of you. I need space, and we're not talking again until you own up to this." They left, Mom sobbing, Dad muttering, Skylar slamming the door, and I collapsed on my couch. My heart pounding, but my mind clearer than ever. I called Jade, telling her about the confrontation, and she was proud, her voice warm. "You stood your ground, Avery. That's huge, and they can't manipulate you anymore. I felt a weight lift, but my phone kept buzzing with texts from relatives, cousin Nate again, my uncle Greg, even mom's friend Carol, all pushing me to forgive and forget. I ignored them, focusing on protecting myself, and met with my bank advisor Ethan Cole to lock down my accounts and start recovering the disputed resort charges, which were now over $5,000. That night, I got an email from Dr. Nora suggesting family therapy to address the financial abuse, and I agreed, but only if my parents and Skylar would commit. I texted them the idea, but only Mom replied saying, "We'll think about it, honey." I wasn't hopeful, but I felt stronger, ready to move forward. The next day, I was scrolling through Instagram when I saw Skylar's latest post, a photo of him at a coffee shop captioned, "Starting fresh new job, new vibes." I was stunned, wondering if he was finally changing when my phone rang. It was Tessa, her voice tense. "Avery, I just heard from your mom. They're planning to ask you for money again. Something about Skylar's new job." Tessa's call about my parents planning to ask for money again, something about Skylar's so-called new job, left me fuming, my phone still clutched in my hand as I paced my Seattle apartment, reeling from the fact that they hadn't learned a thing after stealing my resort subscription and my college savings. I was done being their ATM, so I called Jade, my voice shaking with anger. "Jade, they're at it again. Tessa says they want cash for Skylar's job. Probably another scam." Jade didn't hold back, her tone fierce. "Avery, they're never going to stop unless you make it crystal clear. Shut this down and don't let them guilt you." I hung up, my resolve hardening, and decided to confront them one last time, but only after getting the truth about Skylar's job. So I texted Mia, his girlfriend, asking what she knew. She replied fast, her message blunt. "It's not a real job. Avery Skylar's hired by some shady influencer agency, and your parents want you to pay for his equipment." I felt a surge of rage, my hands trembling as I realized they were trying to milk me for another one of Skylar's pipe dreams, just like the music lessons and content creator gigs they'd drained my savings for. I called my therapist, Dr. Nora Blake, needing her guidance before facing them, and she suggested inviting them to a family therapy session instead of another fight. "Confrontation alone won't change their behavior, Avery," she said, her voice calm, "but therapy might force them to face their actions, and you can set boundaries with a mediator." I agreed, texting Mom, Dad, and Skylar to meet me at Dr. Nora's office the following Saturday, warning them I wouldn't discuss money until they showed up. Mom replied, "We'll be there, honey," but Dad and Skylar stayed silent, which didn't surprise me. They hated being called out. The therapy session was tense from the start, with Mom fidgeting, Dad glaring at the floor, and Skylar slouched in his chair scrolling on his phone until Dr. Nora asked him to put it away. I didn't waste time, my voice steady as I laid it all out. The stolen resort account, the $15,000 from my college savings, the $2,000 jewelry scam, and now their plan to fund Skylar's fake job. "You've been using me for years," I said, my anger bubbling up, "and I'm done letting you treat me like a bank." Mom started crying, her voice wobbly. "We didn't mean to hurt you, Avery. We just needed help, and you were always so successful." I cut her off, my patience gone. "Success I earned, Mom, while you lied and took what wasn't yours. Hawaii was bad enough, but my savings? That's unforgivable." Dad finally spoke, his tone defensive. "We raised you. Avery gave you a home. That money was for the family, not just you." I leaned forward, my voice cold. "A home I helped pay for, Dad. I was 16 buying groceries while you spent thousands on Skylar's hobbies." Skylar smirked, muttering, "You're obsessed with the past, get over it." I turned to him, my anger flaring. "Obsessed? You're the one begging for cash for a fake job. Skylar, Mia told me it's a scam, just like your influencer posts trashing me." His face paled, and Dr. Nora stepped in, her voice firm. "This is a pattern of financial abuse, and it stops with honesty. Each of you needs to own your part." To my shock, Mom nodded, her voice quiet. "We messed up, Avery. We shouldn't have taken your money, and we're sorry." Dad grunted, reluctant, but added, We didn't think it was stealing, but we'll make it right. Skylar stayed silent, his jaw tight, and I could tell he wasn't ready to change, but Dr. Nora assigned us homework: write down our financial histories and expectations to discuss next session. I left feeling cautious but hopeful, my anger easing slightly, and called Jade, telling her about the apologies. "That's progress, Avery," she said, "but keep your guard up. Skylar's not there yet." Over the next week, I focused on myself, meeting with my bank advisor, Ethan Cole, who confirmed the resort charges were fully reversed, saving me over $5,000, and he helped me set up new accounts with stricter security. I also started planning a solo trip to San Diego, a small beach hotel I'd always wanted to visit as a reward for standing my ground. My phone was quieter, with no more guilt-tripping texts from relatives, and I felt lighter, like I was finally reclaiming my life. Then Mom called, her voice nervous, asking if we could have dinner at their house the following Sunday. "No pressure, Avery," she said, "just family. Skylar's got news about his job." I agreed, curious but wary, knowing their apologies and therapy might not mean real change. Sunday dinner at my parents' house was awkward at first, with Mom serving her lasagna, Dad grilling steaks, and Skylar, unusually polite, pouring wine instead of glued to his phone. After we ate, Skylar spoke up, his voice hesitant. "I got a real job, Avery. Not that influencer stuff. A warehouse gig, entry level, but it's legit. And I'm sorry for the Hawaii thing and the posts." I was stunned, searching his face for a catch, but he seemed sincere, adding, "I'm paying Mom and Dad back for some stuff, and I don't expect your help." Mom smiled, her eyes teary. "We're sorry too, Avery. We've been working with a financial advisor, cutting our spending, and we want to pay you back for the savings we took." Dad nodded, his voice gruff. "It'll take time, but we're trying, Avery. We see now how much we leaned on you, and it wasn't fair." I felt a mix of relief and skepticism, my voice careful. "I appreciate that, but I need to see it, not just hear it. Trust takes time." They nodded, and we talked more, setting ground rules: no more unasked loans, no more secrets. For the first time, I felt like we were building something honest, and I left their house with a cautious hope, my heart lighter. A week later, I flew to San Diego, checking into my beach hotel, and called Jade from my balcony, telling her about the dinner. "You did it, Avery. She said you set boundaries, and they're actually trying. Enjoy this trip. You earned it." I hung up, feeling truly free, and spent my days reading, walking the shore, eating tacos at local spots, savoring the peace I'd fought for. Back in Seattle, I got a text from Mom saying they'd started therapy again and made their first payment toward my savings, a small amount, but a start. Skylar even sent a photo of his work ID, proof of his job, and I smiled, realizing we were all changing slowly but surely. What would you have done in my shoes? Would you have confronted your family or handled it differently? Have you ever had to set tough boundaries with people you love? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. If my story hit home, give it a like, subscribe for more real-life drama, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. Thanks for listening, and remember, family means respect, not taking what's not yours.